Today, we are going to really look outside our own perspective of the world and actually get into the mind of an inanimate object. So, I was listening to a story on Alexa the other day along with my son, and I thought this was so interesting and just really skillful too to be able to see life from the perspective of an inanimate object. So, we're going to practice this. So, let's start with the story. Listen as I spin you a tale as fine as silk and as tough as wool, an odyssey of a resilient hero. Our unwitting wanderer is a sock of the most modest design who is snatched from his mate by a giant, abducted by a monster, thrown into a whirlpool and inferno, wondering if he shall ever return to his faithful pair. Our story begins with our hero, warm and content, in a bed of cotton. Without warning, a giant yanks forth the drawer, paying no heed to sock, nor hose, nor thermal underwear. Ripped from the gentle hold of his mate, our hero falls, landing in a crumpled heap far below. He scarcely calms his threads when a furry, four-legged monster takes him up in toothy jaws. Thunderously, he is carried at hurtling speeds until the same giant who first upset our hero's slumber wrestles him from the beast's slobbering maw. Hurled he is into a vortex of water and foam, but our wondrous plight is far from over. Other socks and cotton t-shirts are unceremoniously tossed together, doomed to the same sudsy fate. Finally, the water subsides, draining away through some unseen passage. But alas, the giant appears to toss our hero into a mysterious, shiny cavern. Starting with a slow spin, the cavern transforms into a blazing inferno of desert hot heat and tumbling textiles. Our hero cries to the heavens. If he is to be lost, may his mate find another mismatched sock to attach to. On the brink of lost hope, the rotation halts. The castaway sock feels warm, soft, fuzzy. Could this be the afterlife? But no, he is but carried in a basket of soap-scented laundry back to his own realm, his own drawer, his own beloved. Oh, my sweet, he cries, folding his elastic band around his mate's form. May the great sock gods never separate us again. So that's the story written from the perspective of a sock. I hope you kind of caught the parts there where the dog kind of stole the sock and then it was all slobbery. So the giant of a human put the sock in the washing machine and eventually got back to the mate. So that was a nice ending. So you're going to do the same thing. I want you to choose any inanimate object. Inanimate means it's not animated, which means it's not alive. So just some object. It could be something you're into, like a paintbrush or a skateboard. Or it could be something super mundane, a fork, whatever you want. Then you're going to pretend this object has thoughts and feelings like a human. This is called personification in the literary world. This is one of those skills we can practice to improve our narrative writing. Then you're going to write at least 3 sentences about an experience this object might have. Feel free to write more. In fact, I'd really love if you could turn it kind of into a story, but some of you might not have time for that, and that's okay. I really recommend when you're writing anything substantial for a Google Classroom question that you draft it in a Google Doc so that if like your computer shuts down, you don't lose your progress. So draft in a Google Doc and then copy and paste it into the question on Google Classroom. Then when you finish, another part of today's lesson, just a side note, is to study for your Quizlet vocabulary for the Unit 5 quiz on perspectives. I really recommend the learn function and the match game for review. And we're going to have a quiz on this soon. I just wanted to show you really quick what I mean by the learn function. So these are the vocabulary words. It's a lot of things that we've talked about throughout this unit. And some of them you probably already know, and some of them you really kind of got to get straight in your head to be able to do well on the quiz. So the learn function right here is what I would recommend when you're trying to figure out the words. Once you feel like you have a good handle on them, then the gravity game is a pretty good one. So learn, and it takes you through like a series of practicing the words, and it'll keep track of which ones you get wrong. And if you like mistype something, you can say that you actually know it. So it's a really good method. So good luck. I'm excited to hear your narratives, and then you'll be able to read each other's and make comments on those.